Hi everyone, and welcome to this webinar about AI, machine learning, and personalization from us at Vaimo together with our partners dotmailer, Klevu, and Nosto. My name is Anders Gensmark, and I'm a key account manager here at Vaimo, and I will be your moderator through this webinar. In this webinar, we will discuss why AI and data science is such a big buzz out there, why it's important for today's retailers, and how it actually affects your consumer's user experience. We will also discuss a bit on where to start, the main drivers behind technology like AI and machine learning, but also why it's important for you as a retailer to deliver a tailored and personalized experience to your consumer. The webinar you will listen to today is a pre-recorded panel discussion recorded from a breakfast seminar on AI that Vaimo hosted here in Stockholm earlier this spring. We are about to jump in, but before doing that, I just want to leave you with a open rhetorical question. Are you familiar with the term IWWI, WWI, WI? I want what I want when I want it. The expectations from your consumers today. How well does your company manage to meet your consumers' expectation in terms of I want what I want when I want it? Keep that in mind going into this webinar, where we will try to help you understand a bit more on the importance of delivering a tailored and really good user experience using AI, machine learning, and data science as a foundation. Enjoy!
Why is AI a technology that we actually need? Why is it important, and why has it been developed over time and is very highly relevant today?
So yeah, the why question. So I like to think, the why is pretty easy. I think it's just the way we humans have decided to run the world these days. We're basing everything in society today on the assumption that we'll have constant economic growth. We're betting everything on that tomorrow we'll do things a little bit better than yesterday. We will be smarter, we'll have higher output with less resources, increased productivity. This is what a lot of things in our society is based on, and we've been doing that through the different revolutions that we've seen over the time, and with the technological revolution that we're in today, is constantly trying to drive that to improve everything we do. Work smarter, produce things more cheaper, sell more, take faster decisions. So I think the why is just that. This is just a continuation of how technology is driving increased productivity. That's pretty simple. So that's one thing. But also I like to think about AI as it's just a normal part of the tech or high-tech revolution that we are in already and we have been living with over the years. We are already in a world where technology is dominating pretty much everything, with machines, hardware, and software have been driving massive changes in every industry and part of our society, everything from agriculture to manufacturing to healthcare to culture to communications and entertainment. Technology is driving change everywhere, and up to this part it has been mostly dominated by machines and hardware, and we're pretty much eliminated the human workforce or ourselves from a lot of labor, physical intensive work, and I think we're reaching to a point where that is done, and now it's up here where we need to, or we're trying to eliminate ourselves or do something better than the organic brain can cope with. So that's where AI kicks in for me.
Anything to add?
That was already quite good.
Still that one. I want to shoot one for you, Carl. I'm thinking from a marketing perspective. I mean, dotmailer obviously focusing much on the marketing, and your take on why a consumer expects and actually want a personalized, tailored experience. Why is that so important?
Sure. I think it's human nature. You know, if you interact with a brand the same as if you interact with a person that you've seen before, you expect them to remember your name, to say hi, to greet you as if as if they knew you. That's our expectation, and you know, as technologies develop to enable that, then our expectation increases, and it's a continuous growth. You know, we always find that little bit of novelty that somebody, a company has produced to be a little bit different, but then we see that and we expect it elsewhere. So we get a great shopping experience with with Amazon in the UK, and then we go and try and purchase somewhere else and it's not so good. So we keep going back to the same place. So the other companies then have to start doing the same. But then you start to see that permeate through all areas of life. So now, you know, in banking, it's becoming really important to have a good customer experience. You know, this banks, places you used to go and have a very kind of stern, possibly, you could call it a conversation, and you got your job done and you left. But now it has to be, like a retail experience, and it's just that constant drive of expectation that creates that. Because just as individuals, we want to be treated as individuals. We want to feel a bit special.
Can I add to that?
Yeah, sure. I'd like to second this human nature thing that we're bringing up here. I like to think of man as lazy. We're a human being we're a lazy piece of flesh. We'll always follow the path of least resistance. So anything that we put two choices, and one of the choices is friction, and the other one is frictionless. We will always follow the path of less of friction, right? So I think that that's a huge thing that is driving this need or the success of a tailored experience. We're just lazy. And compared to just look at what Uber's done and what Google is now doing with getting from point A to point B. If you have the choice to calling out your taxi, switch board, hang around for a couple of minutes, wait, tell the person on the other side where you are, wait for the car, tell the car where you're going, whip up your card or pay with cash. That's a ton of friction out there. And then compared to just tailored, personalized experience with Uber, you just this is where I am, get me the thing, and we're getting to a point where it's becoming friction to type even. We're so lazy, we just say, hey Siri, get me an Uber, or hey Google, get me from point A to point B, and we just expect it to happen. But I think the human nature of being lazy is a thing that just drives this craze about tailored experience.
I mean, now we're talking quite much about the tailored experience, and then like about Nosto and about we spoke about the personalization engine and all that. I mean, we understand that it's important, and we understand that we need to deliver a tailored experience. But if we try to see it in a bit of a broader perspective in terms of talking about product recommendations, for example, in trying to have and tailored experience there as well. But how could it be used? I mean, there's so many more things than just product recommendations. And why is that important? That we understand that it's one thing to have a product recommended, but also make sure that we follow through all the channels of market and so on. I'm thinking Nosto, who's present on social media and doing all that kind of services. Your takes on that one?
Well, I think it kind of builds quite a lot on what PJ has been talking about people being lazy and kind of the evolution of humankind in itself. Like, we started mastering fire and building tools on the Stone Age, but then come quite a long way. Inherently, people are kind of still driven by those same biological trigger points. I mean, people still respond very well to kind of someone just telling them what to do, or scarcity, telling someone that food is running low, you need to get your mammoth flesh right now before it runs out. And what we've seen at Nosto is that kind of giving a good user experience from a kind of a retailer point of view as well drives kind of a very good subconscious shopping experience for the end user as well. And what it generates is obviously like more sales, more engagement, and kind of when you start looking at it from different channels as well, you don't have to just think about your store, you can think about offline, social media, whatever outlet, and the same concepts just work across the board. And it's becoming inherently like more and more dominated by those same psychological concepts as well. I'm not sure if I answered your question, but at least I got a monologue.
And also from our perspective, talking about search, in search in general now, talking about personalization, the next step is predictive search. Everybody's talking about that now. I mean, just imagine if search engine has access to your calendars as well, seeing that you are going to London next Monday, having the weather forecast, raining in London, automatically you get the suggestions then, or in the web shop you can buy a raincoat. If you have a raincoat, you pack it with you. So that's the next step we're looking in as well at Klevu.
And I think this is also a thing that we already see. We're taught by the likes of Apple and Google that already has access to your calendar and will tell you, hey, you're late for work, or your appointment is in 40 minutes in downtown and traffic is heavy today, so you need to get moving. So this is also a thing that mobile is teaching us. We were already getting this, whether we wanted it or not, and realizing, hey, this is a great service, so this is nice. I don't have to keep track of where I need to be by when anymore. The thing, the AI-powered thing in my pocket already does that for me. So I think with that will teach the consumers to expect that, or that is now the expectation in any search or any service or application that I would choose to interact with. We're suddenly, at one point in time soon, we will be disappointed by Amazon not knowing that I will go to London next week and whether we'll be like. So if we find something else that does that for us, we'll think that is going to be a better experience and we'll choose that. But I think a lot of these things is the big ones teaching us what to expect and where the bar is in terms of personalization and services powered by this technology.
Yeah, I mean, and there's quite many examples already. I would say we on Vaimo, on the Vaimo end, we trying to attend the big trade shows in the US every year. IRCE is one of those, and a lot of the main brands and retailers over there are talking extremely much about how they collect and analyze data from their actually consumers. Under Armour is one great example in terms of having the fitness app and having the tracking their shoes and so on to understand where does their runners actually run and where are stores in relation to that and all that. So it's also quite interesting that the AI perspective gives insights in how you can actually change, adapt, and improve your business in terms of understanding the needs from the consumer. I mean, we've seen quite many examples in how data provides us insights on what products should we actually buy, and how can future collection, for example, be more accurate by analyzing data, going backward and so on and so on. I mean, we have one good example of another partner for us, Yotpo, who provides a lot of nice services in terms of, okay, ask the consumer to rate the size of this product on site. Is it too small, is it too big, and so on. And that is also an AI-driven feature to make sure that we provide better information for the consumer on the inside. Do you guys have any thoughts or ideas? I'm thinking there's a lot of data going through in all the systems, and how the retailers actually can use that data in order to try to understand or change something in their business.
So at Klevu, at least we, of course, based on our machine learning, we get to know the most used keywords, but as important, you also get to know keywords which had 0 results. So I mean, either you are missing some products customers are looking for, or you are missing some synonyms customers are using. So this is a really important thing for us in search to bring this out to you guys based on machine learning.
I think the point raises an interesting question as well. Across when you start taking these kind of AI experiences across different channels and different data sets, the importance of having those data sets be accurate. So if we're looking at something like on-site search, if we're looking at product recommendations based on previous behaviour, things where we've got hard data, we can see how somebody's interacted with our site, we can see physically what they've searched. It's quite a natural leap then to start using AI to start making predictions and so on. When you talk in the email world, or if more broadly where somebody's going to cross different data sets, the opportunity for that data to be corrupted or just to be flat out incorrect is pretty significant. So certainly in email, people are very guilty of just grabbing email addresses, chucking them in the system and kind of forgetting about them. So with what we do, before you start trying to be predictive, you want to get your house in order. And it's super important to do that, to make sure you're really clear on the data, make sure it's accurate, it's up to date. One of the things, I hear about GDPR constantly. Hopefully that will go away soon now that we're nearly over the threshold. But it actually for us is great because the last time data was really tight, data laws were really tight, we saw big increases in ROI for customers that were behaving well. I expect to see the same. And I think when everyone's got their house in order from a data perspective, then they can start making better use of AI. And things can start to be more contextual as you go across different channels. But getting that right early on is a really important step, because otherwise any algorithm you put junk in, you get junk out. So just getting that right early on is going to be really important.
I just want to build on your point a little bit here. I agree with everything you said. Then from my side as well, there's something called insufficient data, where kind of a lot of solutions or a lot of stores only rely on, let's say, transactional data. That only accounts for a couple of percentages of all the data sets you can actually use to do different things. And kind of tying that in with explicit signals, explicit intent, or kind of things you actually do on the site is immensely important. And then also kind of not getting into this siloed walled garden where you have one solution with X data, one solution with Y data, and none of these solutions kind of discuss with each other. And that's something we've done quite well.
If we look into today, I would say that the buzz around AI and ML, machine learning, has been around for quite some time now. And for me, at least, starting this business more than 10 years ago, when I remember when Nosto was founded, for example, and how there was an e-commerce service, purely online e-commerce, and everyone was simply amazed about the product recommendations. And what's kind of interesting from my perspective is that all these things have changed over time now, and we are expecting to be personalized in every channel, everywhere, regardless where we're facing our consumer. Right? And I'm kind of curious to understand or hear your thoughts on why is this something that we see retailers have a hard time to actually start working with? What are the challenges of doing the AI in a proper way, and where should I start, basically? There's quite much to dig into, and what are my must-have, my must-dos, and all that? Where should I start if I haven't really worked with it today?
One point which I want to make super clear at this point is that kind of marketing is a good thing, but marketing has also kind of ruined machine learning in its own way, because every company in the world today is doing AI, data-driven, accelerated, data mining, etc. It's just buzzword after buzzword after buzzword. If you go to any of the e-commerce trade shows, you'll see every stand just pitching data-driven AI, autonomous, this and that. And kind of I would say for retailers today, I don't know, if someone disagrees with me, just raise your hand, but I would say that for retailers today, it's really hard to kind of narrow down which companies are actually doing something worthwhile, who are actually spending time and money on engineering, and who are actually kind of producing results, and who are just kind of creating a basic calendar app and calling it AI. And that's, for me, that's one very big focus, just the wording of the whole kind of game we're in.
Yeah, I'd like to build on that. I think you make a really good point. Previous to dotmailer, I was at one of the big marketing clouds, and you know the AI conversation starting to come up. Salesforce had Einstein, and IBM had Watson. I was at Adobe, and we had Sensei, and the reality behind all of these bits of kit is they're not a thing. They're not a real thing. They're a brand. So all of these companies, and us as well, have elements of machine learning within our tool set. What those large kind of marketing clouds are doing a lot of is branding them up as one consistent thing. So if you're using some one element of IBM, it's not going to be the same computer. You know, this amazing bit of AI that works out whether people have got certain diseases, that's working out which is going to be the best campaign for this. That's just a fallacy. When you have tools like Nosto and Klevu that are very, very specific in what they're trying to achieve, they're kind of super drilled down, and that's all they do. It's very powerful, and that is where we should be. Within dotmailer, we have elements of our solution that are AI, that are machine learning, and I'm constantly battling with the product team to say, look, resist just branding some, what we've got. And trying to call it something it's not. Let's actually have a proper conversation about it, and talk about what we really can do, rather than just trying to add to the buzz. Because actually, we're serving customers better by saying, look, if you want to do product recommendations, we can do a bit of that. But Nosto, that's what they do, and they're super, drill down into it. The same with search. So I think just kind of eliminating some of the hype and fluff is really important if you can have an honest conversation with your customers about it.
And at the end of the day, for you guys, it's really what's in it for me. I mean, under the line, look at the ROI. I mean, it should be measurable. So if you really want the best solution, then it should also be measurable, so that you know what you're paying for.
Just want to chew on you for PJ on that topic as well. I mean, obviously, we at Vaimo who work with these kinds of tools, partners that are very, very much narrowed down to their service and what they do. I mean, what are our thoughts on taking? Why do we use them and work closely with them when we are working with our clients and customers?
I mean, the main reason our purpose at Vaimo is to drive success, to help our clients sell more most of the time. That is what success, most of the time, is measured on increased sales. So that's our mission with everything we do. We like to drive success with all our clients. And a couple of things are already beautifully solved with AI, with products like this. For example, search. How do we present a relevant search result for a given keyword, or what kind of product recommendations do I give here on the landing page, in this campaign, on this detail page, or in the checkout? Or when should I trigger my marketing campaign, and in which channel, and what should the personalized message be? So this is what we do, and this is, as Chris was saying, we see this black and white. These are easy things, or they're hard, but they're also easy because they're very concrete and very narrow and specific. Is this product recommendation algorithm working better than this? Well, okay, B1, so let's continue digging deeper into that one. So these are very specific, measurable areas, but there's so much more going on in digital commerce, and it's so much more than just product recommendation, or just search, or just marketing, automation, or messaging. So what we're looking after, or the challenges where we dig is like the bigger questions beyond recommendations and beyond communication and search. Like questions like, which marketing campaign should I run for spring break, or for Ramadan, or what should I do in November, Black Friday this year? What should I do? What should be my go-to-market strategy, or how should I position my offering compared to all the competition out there? Those are huge, bigger questions, and that's like, for me or for us, the next level, where we try to find partners, or find ways, or find services that can help, because these are examples of high-skilled or questions that take hard work up here. What campaigns should I run? Big tough questions, and like Google Analytics, for example. Everybody has it. We're swimming in data, but what do I do with it? I know everything about each and every single session, everything that goes on in my digital flagship store. I know everything, but what do I do with it? You know, I can only take in a number of dashboards, but then I need to form decisions on that and follow up on that. And these are tough questions for our little brains and even teams. So I think this is where I like to dig around and where I think we will move after solving these hard but pretty specific questions at this point. So yeah, that's what we're trying to deal with.
Sure.
Yep.
I think you make a really good point, and on top of what Krista says, I think what you have to really do is start with an objective. It reminds me of a conversation I had at a trade show maybe 6-7 years ago, when prospective client said, "What do you do with social? Okay, what's your objective?" No, I just need to develop my social strategy. I said, okay, that's excellent, but what do you want to achieve? And she couldn't answer what she wanted to achieve from social. So I said, well, you could do any number of things with social, but if you haven't got an objective, you're really wasting your time. And I think that it's super important for each of these things. You know, what is it you want to achieve? And you know, can AI help that? And can it be measurable? You know, that's going to be super important. And I think, you know, so long as you have those hard measures, then you won't go far wrong. Now, if your boss is saying, so I've heard AI is a thing, what are you going to do with it? You need a story, right? But, you know, I think start with the objective and then see if it can help.
Yeah, I think that's a nice comment. This is a great example. I think a system like dotmailer or any of these systems is really helping us to narrow down something to a real story that's measurable. You know, I want to increase my AOV, or I want to add more items to every order, or I want bounce rate or success or conversion from search to be better. Now that we have specific systems and services like you guys to do this, it's actually really easy to narrow that down to a business objective, and that's a good thing.
We talked a little bit about it and touched the topic a bit, but I mean, obviously the borders on online, offline, and all channels and all that is more or less eliminated. I would say that from a consumer perspective, it's basically not a website or a desktop or mobile site. It's more just meeting the brand, wherever I want to meet the brand. And if you look on AI linking those kind of customer journeys in terms of, okay, is it possible today to actually achieve a good personalized tailored experience regardless channels, regardless devices?
I think this is one of my favorite fields, omnichannel or unified commerce or whatever label you put on it. This whole channel agnostic purchase journey. We all know it happens. It's a fact. Nobody's just getting an idea and jumping into a website and buying something without looking anywhere else than the single touch point and a single channel. At least most of the purchases don't work like that. It's a messy journey. We start out, we visit a store, we read a magazine, we watch television, we listen to something, we see something on social, we see 2 ads, and eventually we go out and purchase something. So the journey is all over the place, and this is the challenge with omnichannel. How do we support the journey? How do we keep it tailored and relevant across all these points? And I think one of the things that we deal with at Vaimo, most of our clients are very deep in omnichannel. They have stores or multiple channels. One of the first challenge in serving a tailored and a personalized experience across all touch points, that we need to know that it's you when you walk into the store. I mean, we need to know it's you when you launch up a chat with us on Messenger, or we need to know it's you when you browse the site, or when you launch the app. We need to know it's you. So user authentication is the key thing, and in apps, we've already solved it with the likes of Touch ID and Face ID. Every app, every time, you know, if an app doesn't recognize me, if I have to log in again to Instagram or whatever, I'm going to be freaked out. I'm going to hate it. I curse at my phone, and then my phone forgets who I am. So I think this is one of the things that we really try to find ways around. How do we decrease friction in knowing who you are and authenticating you when you walk into a store? Because my phone already knows it me. When I walk into a Bauhaus store, example, why would I have to tell the sales staff on the floor hates me, and I bought everything. This is my purchase history. This is my entire browsing history, and this is everything I did to my house. If you just look at my Instagram, where I post all my building projects at home, you should just know this. Why do I have to bother with telling you this? I think it starts with knowing who you are. User authentication is the first thing, and this is the struggle because it's hard to do in the physical world.
Sure. I have a short story on this topic actually. A couple of months ago I bought 6 items from a store in Finland, where I'm from by the way, and I got a message saying like your order has been kind of, it's up for grabs now, like come to the store and pick it up. So I go down to the store on my lunch break, figure like, takes me 5 minutes to go there, let's pick that stuff up. I get to the store and the clerk comes back to me with 2 items. I'm like, what's these 2 items? I ordered 6. And the girl says, yeah, I mean, they didn't have the other items available in the web inventory, so those are going to be shipped to you later. I'm standing in the store and I'm like, you have the 4 items in stock in the store, can't you just give them to me? And she looks at me like I'm the biggest idiot in the world and says, I can't give you stuff from other stores' inventories, obviously. So I check my phone, I look at the order, I'm like, can I cancel this? Okay, I can't, damn it. Pick up the 2 items, go back to work, and when I get back to work, I receive an abandoned cart email for the stuff because I went in on my mobile and saw the shopping cart got restored and I didn't buy it. So that was probably the worst experience ever. The worst, and it's true by the way, I didn't make this up. So that's definitely something that we're trying to kind of solve extremely intensively. How to kind of combine the online shopping journey with what you actually buy, with how emails go out, with how Facebook retargeting works, and how offline purchases also get in the mix. So when you kind of go into the store and you browse a pair of pants, you end up buying a pair of pants in the offline store on the weekend, you shouldn't be getting retargeting messages the entire next week about the pants that you're wearing. It's an extremely bad user experience. And I think it's just great that we're all trying to solve it because it's a big problem.
I mean, we're talking a bit about how these kind of services narrows down to driving sales, ROIs, and so on. And I mean, obviously you guys are working with a lot of clients, and it was kind of interesting, or is kind of interesting to understand what kind of insights do you actually see when you start working with clients, the difference in terms of going from non-personalization to being personalization, pre-post, Nosto, pre-post, dotmailer, and so on. What kind of benefits do you see on the client side when they start working? How does the numbers look like? What's going on or similar?
Sure. So, can't really speak too much to predictive, but in terms of like a proper detailed level of personalisation, if you're sending emails that contain content to somebody's browse, if you're sending emails that are triggered by on-site actions, return on investment there is around 3 to 5 times the regular ROI. So we see significant uplift versus just the blanket emails that you send to everybody. We certainly see that. One of the other areas though that we are using machine learning and AI really well is kind of in the back end, and people don't really we don't make enough noise about how much it helps our customers. So when people upload lists to us, we keep anonymised records of every bounce that we get. So if an email isn't delivered, if it fit hard bounces, soft bounces, and so on, that's all kind of kept within the system so that we're able to maintain hygiene on sending. What we're able to do using that information and using engaging information is to determine when you upload a list and send it, whether or not it's going to be successful. So before you hit send, if the list looks bad, we can say don't send it because you can affect your sender reputation. You're not going to get delivered. So in our world, an email being delivered, being in the inbox is super important. So aside from just the uplift on personalization, actually using those kind of techniques just keeps you in the game, which we find really helps.
On our side, this is an extremely difficult topic because even though we have quite extensive analytics in place and have a good team in place to kind of interpret those results, I mean, we're still so much in the beginning of our journey of actually understanding the whole customer journey. I mean, we have a bunch of cases where we increase conversion rate by 10-20%, annual revenue of 5-10%, average order value 20-30%. We have a bunch of those cases, but then there's so many other things that we can't track. For example, did we make this customer kind of a, how should I say it, did we create a good user experience for the customer? Was the customer satisfied with their user experience? Or how did implementing automation actually kind of decrease manual labor at a company? So it's a very broad topic, so to say. But yeah, some stats at least.
And for us, it's really down, again, to show what we will bring added value to you guys. I mean, we think that, I mean, look at the journey Google has taken us on. We think that we should be able to give you the same experience. When you first search for a product in Google, it brings you tens of or hundreds of alternatives of web shops. Then you jump into the first web shop. If you don't have an intelligent, good search in your web shop, you're lost. Your customer gets frustrated. He's used to using Google, getting fast, relevant answers, jumping into the web shop, getting a crappy search. He frustrated, leaves your shop in the worst case, goes to the competitor, buys the product. Or if you have 0 results because he did a spell error or something like that, it's a catastrophe. So for us, it's really to show you increase of sales. You will see that immediately. You will see conversion rates going up, search-led sales growing. We show the numbers, amounts, what we are bringing you really black and white, so that you are secure that we are bringing you more business. So it's a win-win then, a no-brainer for both of us.
I can try to answer that from what we hear when we talk to clients. You know, what happened? Nosto kicked in. We installed Klevu. We went with dotmailer. What happened? And we have the numbers. I mean, it's a fact. It's a fact that you know a high precision and a relevant search results will increase conversion and sales. And marketing and personalization and our product recommendations is the same thing. It's a fact. They do work. So the numbers are there. But what we also see is from a thing that I often pick up with clients is like, it's freeing up resources. I'm so happy that I you know, last month or last year I sat there and manually, because you can do all of this manually in Magento, for example. You can sit in Magento and manually associate product with product. You know, for this product I want these to show up as relevant or related, and I want these to show up in the cart as cross-sells. You can do all of this, and it's like a featured thing in Magento that cross-sells actually is supported out of the box, and it can be done manually. And you shouldn't do that. You should not be sitting and clicking products, you know, one by one. You should. That's labor work. We should automate that and have systems that can actually do this with high precision for you. And then with automation, you shouldn't be, or with marketing, communication, and promotions, you shouldn't be sitting there and trying to figure out what time should I send this email, or you know what is this segment valuable or not, and what is the customer lifetime value of this type of customer group. You shouldn't be able to do these things manually. This should be handled by intelligent systems and search, you know, like synonyms or fuzzy matches. You know, what is a good synonym for flat TV? Is it LED, LCD? You know, if anybody searches for 32-inch, should I also include 35-inch screens, or you know, you shouldn't do these things manually. And this is what we pick up, that it's freeing up resources, and it's, yeah, to my initial point that we're a good way of thinking of this is how can I eliminate labor? Are there systems that are having perfect knowledge and making faster, smarter, better decisions, and that are automatically connecting back to results that can do this labor for me? Can I do something else? Can my team transform to move up to the tougher questions, or the bigger decisions that we don't yet have systems for? So I think that's the thing that we pick up as when partners like this kicks in. It's freeing up resources in the team, and everybody's happier.